Well, thank you, Crystal. Thank you so much. And thank you to American Heritage Credit Union for their partnership and their trust. So, welcome everyone to today's presentation, Disaster Preparation and Recovery. This is a great, and very important topic, especially in today's. It seems like we're hearing weather here, weather there, but we need to be prepared not only for these weather emergencies, but also we need to be prepared for our finances. Um, and all the information that I'm going to be showing today, handouts, they will be passed out to you after the presentation. So with that, we'll go ahead and start. So thank you again for attending today's webinar. A little bit about the agency that I represent, Money Management International. We are a national full-service nonprofit financial education and counseling organization. Our mission is to improve life through financial education. Money Management International provides a variety of services to help consumers manage their finances, and in that way they're able to achieve their goals. We provide online resources. We also have a free online learning program, learn.mmiuniversity.org. At the end of the presentation, you will be able to see that link. We also provide budget and credit counseling. We are one of the largest HUD-approved agencies in the country. HUD stands for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. We provide pre-bankruptcy counseling, in education, student loan counseling, credit report reviews, and post-disaster recovery. So we also are able to offer budget and credit counseling available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And one of the best things is that we have a dedicated phone line for all the members and non-members of the American Heritage Credit Union. At the end of the presentation, you will be able to see our website, Money Management International website, the link for our online financial literacy program, free, and the dedicated phone line for all of you to be able to access budget and credit counseling, which again, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and free of charge. All right, so these are the objectives for today's presentation. I'm going to explore resources to help you prepare your finances should disaster strike. Specifically, I am going to show you how to create a financial readiness plan, how essential records and documents are important, how those documents and records are so important to have a plan, to be able to have them ready to pick them up. I'm also going to give you some steps that you are able to take to activate your financial readiness plan after an emergency. And then the last thing is some strategies that you are able to use to recover strong after navigating through emergency situation. So lots of great information that I am going to be passing out today. Remember, all the information is going to be in the handouts that you will be receiving after the presentation. Um, well, I would like just to start by asking yourself out there, have you ever been affected by a natural disaster? Or do you think that of someone that you know that have gone through a natural disaster? You're welcome to use the Q&A area for any of the comments and questions that you may have. At the end of the presentation, we'll go over those. Well, at some point in our life, we may encounter a natural disaster. We might encounter an emergency, It could be a natural, it could be just an emergency. Something happened. Um, so according to the National Centers for Environmental Information, as of August of 2024, there has been so over 50 confirmed weather or climate disaster events in the United States. Now, this is from last year, okay? So natural disasters often happen quickly and without warning, and it is important to know how to prepare for them. Creating a financial plan is crucial. This includes assessing your financial situation, evaluating where you are today, assess readiness, and updated budget. Again, looking to see where you are, a debt reduction plan, savings, adequate insurance, and having some cash on hand. Okay, so let's start by talking about access readiness. The most important thing is to get started now. Okay, a lot of times we think, oh yeah, I think I know, I think I'm ready, I think I know where all my things are. But it is important to really have a plan, to really know exactly what you're going to do. So the most important thing is to get started now. So yeah, a lot of times again, people just say, yeah, I think I have enough saving. I think I know where my things. But when we are facing an emergency, sometimes we don't think, we get very confused. So it is important to have a plan. Now we all think about disasters only on a specific time of the year, especially tornadoes, hurricanes. Between we think about those maybe between April and October, uh, especially with hurricane season. But if we have heard the news lately, if we have seen the news lately, it seems like these emergencies, this weather emergencies are happening all year around. Emergencies, disaster are happening all year round. We saw in the beginning of the year some fire in California and the west side. We've seen flooding. We've seen hurricane, tornadoes, rain. The weather, just having an excessive heat, that can also be an emergency. Okay, so it is it is okay to say that around about 34% of American household has experienced a major unexpected expense in the past year, in this past year. Yet, most of us don't have enough savings to cover at least $1,000 if we have to spend $1,000. So many of us don't have the cash available. So today, by you attending this class, you are going to be thinking about how to prepare and be ready. The most important thing, the most important thing you can do is to really take action steps toward building and implementing your emergency financial plan. Okay, so there are also other steps that you may want to take, such as physical emergency preparedness, first aid kits, water, meals, water prep, evacuation plan, family contact plan. So for a lot of that information, we have a couple of websites that we advise. One is FEMA.gov, and So they have a lot of information. They have checklists that you can follow up. Okay. So, so by also being ready, the first step to create a financial readiness plan is, again, to assess where you are today, okay, and where you want to be. So assessing your current financial situation. So let's talk about assessing your financial situation. So it is important to do a financial readiness assessment at home, like what sorts of things do you think you should assess for emergency readiness? That might be a question that you may be having. Well, here are some ideas to get ready. Is, do you have a budget? You have a budget that includes emergency savings. How much money? What is the quantity of money that you have? What is the amount of money that you have saved on a liquid saving account? Liquid means money that we're able to withdraw with no penalty. Do we have the right insurance coverage? What type of insurance? Do we have flooding? Do we have a fire insurance? Do we have health insurance? Do we have car insurance? So do we have the right insurance coverage? Do we have rental insurance? That's our homeowners insurance coverage. What does it cover? Okay. Do we have a household inventory? Do we have all our identifications? And do we have copies of all the IDs and everyone in our family? Do we have that in a safe place? Where is it? Okay. So these are very important questions to keep in mind when you are trying to assess your current situation, not only yours, but also your family, your household. So let's talk about, here are some of the questions. Do you have a budget? How much money do you have? How much money you think you will need? Do you have enough cash out? Do you have a safety plan? Do we have a supply kit? Things like that. Again, all this information is going to be in your handout. So assessing, that's a very important steps so we can start planning. All right, a budget. So after you put together your readiness assessment checklist, it is time to start going through it. So it is important to make changes when it's necessary, so you're able to build your emergency plan. Okay. You might not think the place to start is your budget, but it is a key to prioritize the establishment of an emergency savings. So it is important to have that budget to go over and then talk with all the rest of your family. What are the priority? If something happened, what are the priority obligations that we need to pay? Okay. So when an emergency hits, it is good to know that we may have some unbudgeted expenses. Okay. For example, if we have to leave our home, um, it might be a temporary shelter, like a hotel, or if we're going to stay with a relative, meals away from home, etc. Okay. With regular household emergencies, we may think about repairs. We may not be able to go to work for a while, if the roads are damaged or our car is damaged. Okay. So it is very important to really assess our budget. Important to have family meeting, and then just prioritize what are the obligations that we may be able to cut. or if we don't have enough savings, liquid savings, then we need to build on that. So a lot of times, one of the problems or one of the barriers that consumers have is that they don't have adequate savings for emergencies. Okay, so we are not able to pay, we're not able to cover the bills. So if we are not able to do so, then we may ended up charging it on a credit card if we're not able to pay the complete bill or completely the balance complete, then we are going to start in accruing interest, and that's going to be more an expense for our household. So part of assessing your situation is determining the steps that you will take, that not only you but the rest of the family, the rest of the members on your household, what are the steps that you are going to commit to take if an event, an emergency. Okay, so also, what are the steps that we are going to take to build that emergency savings rather than having that cash on hand, having that money on hand, rather than increasing our balances on our credit cards? Okay. So again, family meetings, very important, and trying not to accrue any new debt and cutting expenses as much as we are able to do so. Finding ways to save. Okay. So when you're trying to build your emergency savings, it might seem difficult for some of us to find that extra money, but it is important to really, again, have that conversation and see what are the needs, what are the expenses that we are able to cut, what are the needs versus wants. So some of the strategies that you may be able to start saving is paying yourself first. As soon as you get your income, your money coming into your checking account, have it a transfer, have an automatic transfer into the savings, paying yourself first. So you're able to use a direct deposit. There are some tools out there that you're able to use when you use your debit card. Some banks are allowing us to kind of boost that savings and have the rest of the payment, if it's not a round amount, to go into the saving. Another technique that we always advice is what we call the step down spending techniques. Okay, the spend down techniques, and this is just for looking for ways to save, rather than just taking that expense, just giving up that expense altogether. So the idea is to take an expense and think on different ways that you can save money on it. So in this example is, rather than going to a movie where we're gonna spend uh, for snacks and popcorn, maybe just not that, stepping it down, maybe not buying any snacks, or maybe going to a matinee movie time early in the morning, well, mid-morning or early in the afternoon, or maybe just renting or streaming down a movie, or maybe just going to the library. And then if we are streaming, and we're just watching the movie at home, then we may be able to save money and just have the snacks at home. So it is a technique that you're able to use it with any expense, maybe your cable bill, maybe eating out, maybe any other expense. How can I step it down? Not not giving it up altogether, but finding ways to save money and still enjoy, uh, doing it. Okay. How about the debts? How about my obligation? How about my debts? Okay. Uh, a lot of times, it is important to really uh, know how to use credit wisely. Okay. Maybe this young man said, I cannot afford an emergency saving account because I have all these bills to pay. But yes, you cannot afford not to have savings for emergency. That is a no-no. You are going to do it. So using credit to pay for emergency expenses can get very costly, okay? Especially if you roll those into the minimum monthly payments. And it is just going to cost us double and triple, especially when that interest starts increasing. If your debt, and again, we are assessing our personal finances, our situation. If your debt is a barrier to start a saving account, it is important to make a plan today to tackle that debt. Okay. There are several solutions out there. There is the snowball, the avalanche. We also offer at moneymanagement.org, we offer several resources to tackle debt. Remember, it is important to make budget adjustments, okay? Because your goal here is to reach your goal, to have an emergency saving, to be able to pay all your obligations. If maybe when you're trying to look in your budget and trying to see how you are able to save, maybe addressing some expenses that you are may be able to cut back temporarily, and then getting those back when you have that amount, your goal uh, of your emergency saving in place. Okay. All right. So, assessing insurance. So, insurance protects us. Okay. Insurance is going to protect your home. It's going to protect your family, your possessions, your vehicle. But many of us don't know what insurance they have. Many of us don't know. Yeah, maybe we do know. Oh, yeah, I have car insurance. I have homeowners insurance. I have rentals insurance. But many of us don't know in detail what will cover in case of an emergency. Many of us, when we find out all the details, when we are facing an emergency, when we are calling our insurance, say, okay, this is happening. And that's when we found out that what is the coverage that we have. So it is important to know what we have and what will cover. Okay. So, you know, look at your homeowner's insurance, look at your rentals insurance, look at your car insurance. Okay. And see what it covers. All right. When considering insurance, there are some important things to know. Uh, First, you know, what covers and what doesn't cover. A lot of times, homeowners insurance do not cover flooding. And we have seen it. We have seen it in the news that no, I was not required to have a flooding insurance, but yet we were, you know, we were confronted by a flooding. So was a cover? I mean, assess your home, what belongings you have. Um, and your car insurance, what does it cover? Your renter's insurance, what does it cover? Okay, so very important to assess your insurance. Do you have disability insurance? Very important to stay current on premiums. Uh, and just look and research what cover and what does not cover. Okay. Let's talk for more information about flooding and flood insurance program. There is a website under FEMA.gov. Also, your insurance company may have information on that. Thunderstorms, electrical storms, lightning, things like that. Does it cover? So very important to check our policies, just like when we go to the doctor and we have an annual checkup. Very important to have an annual checkup on all your insurance. Cash on hand. Okay, so this is another safeguard. We need to have some cash on hand. Maybe have a cash on hand in your go box. Okay, and I'm going to be talking a little bit more on detail about the go box in a few minutes. Okay, many of us think that, oh yeah, well, if something happened, if I'm away, I may be able to use the automatic teller machines. Well, we don't know. We don't know if we will not have electricity. We don't know if the debit cards or credit cards where we're able to get cash advance may not work in the area. So it is important to have some cash on hand for any type of emergencies. Okay, how much cash you should have on hand? It is very personal, and generally what we said is um, look at your family size, look at the type of vehicles, if you need to put gasoline, how many in your family. But usually, an average of around $400 in cash, at least $400 in cash may be a good. But again, look at your household size, look at your need. Or do you have adult children, do you have small children? So it just depends, but having some cash in hand, it is very important. Also, keep it in a variety of denominations, not large bills, but it's more small bills. Okay, and just hide it, put it away, hide it, well, not hide it that you don't know where it is, but just put it away from all our eyes, and don't be tempted to tap into that cash. Okay, just keep this strictly for real emergencies. Okay. All right, so let's talk about gathering those essential records and documents. Okay, this is the next phase of our emergency readiness plan. Okay, so my question out there, how many of you have a full inventory and record of all the household belongings? Do you have copies of all your identification and financial information? Okay. Do you have it? But do you have it in a safe place? Okay. Do you have it maybe back off site, maybe on a flash drive? Um, Unfortunately, many of us may have those records, but we may not have an extra copy away from our home, or maybe in a safe place. Okay, so it is important to do that. Identifications, all your insurance documents, your policy numbers, your prescription, your health information, your household inventory. What things do you have? Do you have electronic? Do you have laptops? Your bedroom, your living room, if you are a collector, have photographs. Do we have a safety plan? Okay. Do we have a kit? Do we have an emergency kit, first aid kit if something happens? So let's talk about the documents. Okay. Um, Now you may be kind of thinking gathering all this paperwork. Well, wow, that's a lot of work, but it is really important to get these things together. Okay. You can have copies and you can have them on place. You can have them in a safety box. And this is what we also I'm going to be talking about the to go box, the go box. The go box may be a portable, fireproof, waterproof box. If we don't have a box, we may have maybe a safety box, one of those safety heavy box that we may not be able to carry around. So inside that box, you may have all the copies, all the personal IDs, information, immunization. If we have a pet, your pet records, your prescription, your social security card, military ID, passports, birth certificates, driver's license. You may make a copy and put it inside a Ziploc, a Ziploc bag. One of those tie bags that you can seal and then you can just put it inside your safety box. Okay. Very important to keep copies of all these essential documents. And then in there, you may be able to have a flash drive with your maybe wills, any accounts, investments, your information, just your personal information, your passwords, things like that. So it, many of us may have safety boxes in our financial institutions. So you may be able to have copies of those in there also. But remember, in an emergency, maybe those financial institutions may not be available. Okay, it's just depending the emergency that we may encounter. So the Ziploc bag, having it in a place where you're able just to take it with that cash on hand, it is important. Okay. So again, these are the information you may think to have handy copies of all that information. Okay. We don't want to be, scrambling if we are hitting an emergency or an evacuation. So it is important to have this. Um, Again, the insurance, copy of contact information of all your major creditors, banking, investments, mortgage documents, military records, and don't forget your pets. Your pets. Okay. All right. Inventory. Now it's so easy because we all have those smartphones. So technology has make it really easy to keep this inventory on hand. So you can being able to take pictures or videos, and then you may be able to send it to a loved one or someone that you will trust. Here are my information about my belongings. You can record the information. You can take pictures, have the model numbers, serial numbers, any physical description of all your belongings. So and that way, if we are in need to file a claim, then you're able to show everything that you have. Now, again, technology makes it so easy nowadays with the cloud storage. So we may be able to store some of the important documentation safe. Okay. So think about that. Okay, this might be maybe having it again save on a USB on a flash drive and putting it in that to go box. Making a safety plan. Okay. Being prepared for any type of disaster also means working with your entire family. Okay. The whole entire family will be able to develop that plan. Okay. And then, have a plan where to go, where is the place in your home, what is the safest spots in your home if it's a storm coming. So creating a communication plan and creating that evacuation plan, talking and explaining to the rest of the family, and also if you may have elderly living with you, or if you may have guests, then everybody knows what to do, and tell them where to go. Okay. So again, have a communication plan. That's the most important thing. Okay. Survival kits, and this is something many of us already have, but we don't have it kind of gather. Uh, a gallon of water. If we have a lot of us have that weather in our phone. Uh, where's our medications, flashlights handy, very important with extra flashlight. For more information about what things to have in our kit, go to FEMA.gov, and ready.gov has a lot of information in there. Okay. Activating the plan. Okay, activating a plan. So again, have an easy to carry container or bag. It is important. Okay. Now it says a minimum of 3 days, um, but we don't want to have anything that goes out of date in there. So just a continue, especially, some of us may live on a more area for emergency, for weather emergency. Some of us may not. So again, this is just a general information to keep in mind if we have to evacuate our home. It might not be a weather emergency. It could be maybe a company or a business around where we live, or something that is just making uh, the air dangerous. So, and then we have to evacuate. Okay, it could be anything. All right. All right. Activating the plan. So, if you have an emergency or are in a disaster area and you're continuing monitoring, it is important to activate your plan after moving to a safety. And here, you have already your insurance information. You're going to start filing claim. You're going to look at your budget, and you're going to start prioritizing payments. So in here is where it's important that communication with the creditors, and then start taking pictures of what's going on, what is the damage. Um, you may be able to get help from your family if the area where you are is not safe, or if it's safe, maybe just cleaning up. So it is important in here to activate the plan and start filing claims, and taking pictures, photograph. And then there are several websites that you're able to go. And again, having that information handy, having your insurance information handy, having emergency contact information handy, it is very, very important. Assessing aid, again, you're able to get more information if you need to contact, once you contact your insurance, what other type of benefits you may be able to apply for. Again, FEMA.gov has a lot of the information. It's a small business association, the SBA. the FDA, the emergency SNAP for food, etc. So again, and then also don't forget there are a lot of nonprofit organizations that they are ready to help to assist with your situation, and also your church. Don't forget your church, your place of worship. Okay. This is very important, prioritizing payments. Again, going back to that budget and really going over all your expenses is going to show you what payments in case of something happen. It could be a loss of the job. It could be a debt on the family. It could be also someone gets sick, or have an accident, disability, and not able to get some income in, or we have to evacuate our home. It is important to prioritize the payments. Again, you look at your budget, you're evaluating, you're looking at all your expenses, how much income is, and addressing the priority payments. What are the most essential payments needs to be made? Okay. And again, this is a conversation with the rest of the family. Okay. Contacting creditors, managing debt obligations can be a challenge, especially if we're going through some sort of emergency. But if we contact the creditors, we need to explain. If we have a car payment, if we have a personal loan, if we have a student loan, we need to contact the creditors and be able to work with them by explaining the situation, by explaining the hardship that we may be going through. If it's a mortgage, if we have a mortgage, a HUD approved agency, a HUD canceling agency is able to give you some information, such as maybe a loan modification, or maybe a forbearance depending of the mortgage loan. So it is very important to be proactive and to really ensure that we are contacting all our creditors, all our obligations. Recovering is strong. So after an emergency, it could be a natural disaster, it could be a financial hardship. Again, it could be anything, not only an emergency and a natural disaster, but it could be also a death on the family, or a sickness, or this, if we became disabled or something. It is very important that we recover strong. Okay, all the planning and preparation that we have already gone through is going to come a long way. It is going to help us for the best recovery possible. Okay, so we need to be in that beast mode. We need to be on that beast mode. So it means putting all our efforts into working out. We're going to continue savings. We're going to continue to achieve whatever goal we have in mind. We are going to, after an emergency, we're going to tackle it. We are going to be able just to do whatever is necessary to get back into that financial stability. So we're going to cut expenses. We're going to maybe find an extra little part-time job. We are going to also talk to the family, all the family members. We're going to reach out to mental health assistant, because it is going to be tough. It is going to be it is going to be tough to really get back into this situation, especially our mind setting is going to be affected. Okay. um Avoiding scams. especially in times of natural disaster. There's always going to be those scammers, those people who know everything. They know how to tackle our mental health, our vulnerability. They know, they are ready there to attack us. Some charity information. They know everything. They know how to get you back where you were. So it's very, very important to never give them money up front, um, never accept to any type of repairs or any type of help that they are going to help you. It is very important to um, to be really be aware of all these scams. Okay. If for some reason we are a victim of scams, immediately you can go to FEMA, you can go to the Federal Trade Commission, Better Business Bureau, and then you're able to tackle any of those people by filing a complaint and letting them know. It's very important. There is always people, every time there is something going on, they are there. They are ready. Okay. All right. So, plan for the next emergency. This is a handout. This is a handout that you will be receiving. So, an emergency financial readiness plan is not once and done. It is an important to continue to monitor the plan, to make adjustment as your situation changes. You might be a single person, now you are married or with someone else. Now you may have children. Maybe your age, you may have elderly living with you now. So it is important to continue monitor our plan and make adjustments as needed. Okay. After you have had an emergency, you will need to start back at the beginning, assessing your readiness for the next emergency. You might need to replenish any emergency saving cash that you spent. Uh, Review, very important to review your insurance protection once a year. Once a year, review your insurance protection. Always look at your budget, maintain a budget. Once a week, review your budget. And when the end of the month comes, then you have a bigger picture of all your weekly expenses and income. And that way you're able to look and follow that budget. So in other words, the emergency preparedness plan is an ongoing cycle, an ongoing cycle. Okay. So you will have this handout with the other information. You're not alone. The most important thing is that nobody has to navigate any financial emergency or any natural disaster or any type of hardship alone. Okay. So there are a lot of organizations out there. Always keep, contact your coworkers, your fellow church goers, um, organizations out there. Today's presentation is designed for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an investment, tax, or legal advice. All right, so at Money Management International, one of the services that we have is we have a program called Project Porch Light. And this Project Porch Light is a program that provides free service, free counseling when someone is trying to recover from a disaster. Okay, so these are certified counselors. We work very close with FEMA and many other organizations, with HUD, with any other organizations to help consumers reestablish their situation. This is our one of our program service that we provide. It is free and it's available 24/7 at that number. Okay. It is when the person calls in there, it is a 1 year program that is going, the counselor is going to help and is going to support that consumer as they overcome post-disaster financial challenges. The counselor is going to be able to provide a step-by-step recovery plan. It's going to give them counseling referrals, and they're going to have monthly check-ins with the counselor, between the counselor and the consumer. Okay. Um, this program again is staffed by certified counselors, not only under the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, but also a HUD approved counselors who are especially trained to help people navigate the road to financial peace after a natural disaster. There's also a lot of training that has been received from FEMA. Okay. All right, so here is our website, moneymanagement.org. There is our online financial program, learn.mmiuniversity.org. It's free of charge. And there is the American Heritage Credit Union dedicated phone line available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, free of charge to all members and non-members of the credit union.